one more time for those of you who just came in. We are looking at what, people? Systems of equations. And so essentially 10-1 is just all review of Algebra 1 and Algebra 2. We are literally solving a system. Now, you may have been allowed to put this on Desmos and find where they intersect. That intersection is the solution. That will never be allowed in this class. You have to learn the algebra. So, there is one method where you said you solve for x. That's called the substitution method. My favorite is elimination. If I want to eliminate one of these variables, all I have to do is multiply one of the equations by a -1 and the x's will be gone. Agreed? I mean, let's do the top one. Multiply both sides of an equation by -1. Is that a legal maneuver? Yeah. Multiply both sides of an equation by a number. That's legal. Distribute. What do you get? Negative x plus y equals what? -3. So now, this is the new equation 1, I guess. So if I just look at those two equations, and if I add them together, what has happened to the x's? They've been eliminated, right? 3y plus y is 4y. 7 minus 3 is, oh my goodness, what's y? Y is 1. If y is 1, now, typically, I'd go back to one of the originals. X plus 3 times 1 is what? 3. Thank you. Subtract 3. What do we get for x? 4. The ordered pair, the place they would have crossed if you had graphed them both on Desmos or even in on the TI-84, but you'd had to solve for y to get it there. But they cross at the point 4, 1. That is the solution. X equals 4, y equals 1, or the ordered pair. Any questions? Have I talked you into elimination?
Yes.
Thank you. Now, if they are not written this way, if I say solve, and sometimes you even have like weird ones where, like it'll say x equals 4 minus y, and x plus 2y equals 3. And I made this up, so it'll be yucky answers, I promise. But, so if the situation is lined up like this, okay, I'll give you substitution. Because x is already equal to what? 4 minus y. So in the next equation, substitute for the x, what? 2y equals 3. Oh, I made up an awesome problem. Negative y plus 2y is 1y. What does y equal? Y equals -1. And if y equals -1, what is 4 minus a -1? Let's just check it. I didn't check it in the second equation, but just check it. 5 minus 2 is 3. Negative y, like terms. Negative y plus 2y is 1y. Yeah. I can't believe it. I feel really accomplished. Here's another example that may not look great for either method, but I think it looks awesome for elimination. If you multiply the top by a positive 3, you're going to get a negative 9x, correct? And a plus 15y equals 6. Oh no. What's negative 9x plus 9x? What's 15y minus 15y? And what is 6 plus 6? Uh-oh. when is 0 ever equal to 12? Never. So this one is actually no solution. These two lines, if you graphed them, do you know what they would look like? They wouldn't cross. They would be what? Parallel. Parallel lines never cross, so there's no solution. Sometimes, like, had this been a -2, hypothetically, we would have ended up with a -6 up here, right? And we would have had 0 equals 0. If that is the case, it's the same line, and we would say infinitely many solutions. And the book likes to do it a little bit. Let's just do another example, and I'll show that -3x plus 5y equals -2 equals 6. So if I take these top one, multiply it by what again? A +3. You would have, I don't have enough room, a -9x, a +15y, and a -6, right? And when I add these, I get 0 equals 0, which is always true, correct? So the lines are actually the same. If I solved for y, I would get the same y equals mx plus b, right? Yeah. What this book likes to do is, let me look at how they, I don't even know how they state their answer. So this is always true. We have infinitely many solutions, but not all real number solutions, correct? It's only the numbers that lie on the line, right? So here's what they do. They say, let x equal t. So infinite solutions such that if x equals t, then what we do is we take one of these, replace the x with t, -3t plus 5y equals -2. I took the smaller one. So add 3t to both sides, right? What will we solve for y? What would y be? Yeah. So I'm going to say 3t minus 2 divided by 5. Does that make sense? So this is how we would write the infinitely many solutions. It's a little bit weird. But yeah, I want you to learn this because when we get to the infinite ones with 3 variables, you got to call one of them t and then work through the other ones. Yeah. Y is what? To eliminate. Yeah. Okay. That was a good question. What was your question? Is it always t? Yeah. Just always. T is called a parameter. So, hey, can you just shut your laptops, please? Thank you. All right.
Mr. Mine. Stop playing with me.
All right.
I don't mind.
So let's look at one that just doesn't look beautiful at all. Still, not all of these look beautiful, actually. Let's do this one. 25x minus 75y equals 100. Negative 10x plus 30y equals negative 40. Yeah, this one's not beautiful, is it? Yeah, because as we look for elimination, because I hope I've turned everyone on to elimination. Have I convinced you elimination is best? On this one? All right. Here's the deal. Get out. What if one of them does not go into the other one? Like if this had been a 90y, okay, multiply this one by 3, right? But since none of them are multiples of the other, it's essentially like finding a common denominator, right? I'm just choosing the smaller two. Both of them go into 50, right? 25 times 2 is 50. Negative 10 times 5 is 50. So what we do now is multiply this top one by 2. And what do we multiply the bottom one by? 5. So that is a legal step in elimination. We find a common denominator or least common multiple. 50x, what's 75 times 2? 150? 200. Negative 50x plus, oh good
This is actually
grief,
beautiful. I thought it was ugly.
equals negative 200.
It's beautiful.
All right.
I
knew it was beautiful.
0 always equals 0. I was trying to get a legit answer, but the process is the same, even if it's not going to be all like an infinite number of solutions. So what are we going to do? How are we going to list this?
Y equals something.
So locked in, I can do the answer right now.
Say it, bud.
X is 25t minus 75y is equal to 100, right?
So let's say if x equals t, if x equals t, what are you saying?
So 25t minus 75y is equal to 100.
Nice.
Get minus 25t both sides. So it's 100
Minus 25t,
is over 75.
negative 75.
What?
I'm just solving for the y.
That's basically what it said.
And so y would equal, a negative over negative would be positive. Is that 1/3 t? What's 100 divided by negative 75? 4/3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait.
Yes. I did it the wrong way. I saw it for t.
No, but she gets.
It worked so much better when I saw it like that. It was just t equals 4 plus 3y.
Divided by 75.
Oh,
Yeah, 100 over.
okay.
25 over 75.
So, if I assigned a word problem or two, could you think through these? Because these are the legit real life applications, right? Oh, what you need to know is the formula that rate times time equals distance, right? And I grabbed your calculator. Let's see if you need.
James is about to get a higher score than me.
Yeah. Why are my geezer saying stuff? I don't do. It's like a medical condition.
He's taking a test.
The chiropractor.
Oh, recommend change of batteries.
Someone else will break his hat also.
The only way to fix it is like basic
All right.
massage or something.
Nah, but I don't really care.
You're welcome. All right, so what you need to know is rate times time equals distance, right? So the plane flies from Fargo, North Dakota, to Bismarck, right? And it is 180 miles. And because he is flying into a headwind, it takes him 2 hours. 2 hours. What does headwind mean?
You're flying into wind.
Against the wind. Against the wind. On the way back, the wind is still blowing at the same speed. So from Bismarck to Fargo, still 180 miles, only takes one hour.
You're eating granola bar.
and 12
It
minutes.
was like under my tongue.
What is the speed? What is the speed of the aircraft, and what is the wind speed?
Ooh, alright.
So I just put on my paper the stuff we needed. The distance is still the same, right? So rate times time, we don't know, well, the rate would be, on the way, would be the, what are we gonna call the plane speed plus the wind, minus the wind speed?
It's not mine, I mean, it is my name, but
Does everyone agree? We're gonna do P equals the speed of the plane and W equal the wind speed, right?
I'm just.
Why?
So going from Fargo to Bismarck, we're going against the wind, so our speed is being reduced by the wind. Does that make sense? The time is 2 hours, so P minus W times 2 hours equals the distance, 180. Rate times time equals distance. Have y'all used that formula before? Okay. Rate times time equals distance. So, on the way back, the distance is still 180, right? But we have the speed of the plane plus the speed of the wind helping it, right? And it only takes 1 hour and 12 minutes. What in the world is that? No, 12 out of 60 is what?
I had a break for it.
12 over 60 is what?
It reduces to
1/5.
fractions, 1/5,
So
yeah.
1 and 1/5, but I don't use mixed numbers, I use 6/5. Does that make sense? Now, we could distribute and try to eliminate, but could we also just divide both sides by 2 on this one? And divide or multiply by the reciprocal on this one? So what do we have for equation 1? Equals 180 divided by 2? 90.
I'm tired.
That was
Talking
a
about the number two.
that was a J-Dog mistake. All right. What does P plus W equal? Now 6 goes into 180.
Yeah.
How many times?
6 times.
30. 30 times 5 is.
150. Ah,
So now we have a new equation, right? Adding, by the way, we learn from our mistakes almost more than
No way.
we do. What's P plus P?
P squared. That's a P times.
Zach jumped on through the view.
B squared.
All right,
Actually, no.
90 plus 150 is,
240.
And what mine's overall?
divide by 2, what do we get for the speed of the plane? The plane is going 120 miles per hour, correct?
Slow for a plane.
Miles or
Yeah, that is pretty slow. Must be a little teeny plane, right? All right, how do we figure out the wind speed?
You plug in the 120.
120 plus, is that gonna be 30 equals? 30 is a pretty hefty wind speed, isn't it?
Well, you're flying in the air.
120 minus 30 is 90.
Yeah, the higher you go, I bet the windier.
All right, so guys, that is the issue with, word problems.